Hi everybody and welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host Jason Holland and today we'll be covering the Bearcats' capture of the MIAA Championship, baseball's week of action, and softball games. Before we get into the action, make sure to take a second to subscribe to KNWT TV on YouTube. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified the second that we post new content. Let's get it.
Left to right will take the head off, and he's hitting the backfield. Breaks loose from one would-be tackler around the corner right side to the 30, 25, sideline 20 to the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown Northwest. West, ball at the 19-yard line.
This weekend, the men's basketball team played in potentially its final home game of the year in a 65-57 win over Missouri Western. Celebrating another MIAA championship, they captured their 11th in a row. You might have missed it, but the folks here at KNWT produced a live stream, and several of our crew members were a part of the production. Saw Bennett Sturts go off for 22 points. The win was the 11th straight for the Bearcats, who appear to be catching fire at the right time. It was a day of extending streaks as well as they added on their 12th home game win in a row. As the clock hit zero, it looked like that for one Bearcat legend, it might be the last time that they suit up here in Maryville. Wes Dreamer has been a force since his freshman year, and if it's his last game, it has been a ride as we head into this playoff run. Our own reporter had a chance to chat with shooting guard Mitch Mascari, who sank a pair of three-pointers on Saturday. So rather than tease you, we'll get right into it. Take it away, Wesley.
Mitch Mascari is no stranger to big moments. The junior guard has experienced a lot in his 5 seasons with Northwest men's basketball.
I've been spoiled, to say the least. Been blessed to be able to come in even my first few years and be part of winning programs.
He's won 2 national championships, and now he'll officially never end a season without at least 1 conference title.
Actually, on my visit, I got to play against the 38-0 team. And that really showed me, I was like, okay, these guys know what to do to win and what it takes. And I knew from there I wanted to be a part of it.
Northwest men's basketball has clinched the MIAA regular season title for the 11th straight season. And while Mascari may not have been a major factor in all of those titles, he certainly is now.
If I had to describe it in one word, it'd probably be growth. I just think coming in as a freshman, I wasn't sure if I wanted a redshirt or not, especially for anybody that comes into this culture and this team, you kind of come in as the guy in high school.
In his senior year of high school, Mascari finished with a 3-point percentage of 44. He was the guy then, and while it may have taken a few seasons, he's also been the guy for Northwest as of late. Mascari is first in the MIAA with a 49.6 3-point percentage. That mark also stands as the 4th best across all of Division II.
A lot of reps. A lot of reps for a long period of time. It really started when I was little. You know, my parents rebounding for me, my brothers playing with me in the yard, and just getting up as many reps as I could.
While he may be known for lighting it up from beyond the arc, Mascari also has a bit of a knack for defense, and he tries to be a leader whenever he's on the floor.
I mean, the saying goes, defense wins championship, and when you really get down to the playoffs and playing different teams from different conferences and different play styles, you kind of just got to hone in on what you do and what the team does.
Now, with just 2 regular season games left, Mascari will soon look to propel his team with his 3-point shooting and defense as the Bearcats chase more championships. For Bearcat Update, I'm Wesley Miller.
Thanks, Wesley. Mascari wasn't the only guard to show out on Saturday afternoon. The women's basketball team played in just 1 game this week, that being against their fierce rival in the Missouri Western Griffins. Molly Hartnett was the leader for the Bearcats as she led the team with 16 points. However, it wasn't good enough as the Griffins ended up pulling away early, keeping the Bearcats at arm's length. Well, this may concern some fans as it was so late into the season, we know that they're going to put in the work to finish the year strong. But Coach Austin Meyer isn't the only one trying to iron out kinks. Coach Jacob Mustard attempts to show Noah Cornelius even more tips and tricks in the game of disc golf. Take it away, Jacob.
This week on Bogies to Birdies, we are going to analyze and break down Noah's form and some of the main issues that are limiting his distance potential. Here are some clips of what Noah's form looked like before our fieldwork session. Next, we broke down some of his form in the field house.
Here. From a side view, everything looks good. The basics are correct. But then when you look at Gentry's, you'll see that you extend, but you're not pulling through and driving with your elbow.
You're actually twisting instead of pulling through.
Yeah, this was what it looked like to start.
Yeah.
So we've already made. I just want to show you that there has been progress.
Well, great progress.
Yeah.
Oh, significant. Yeah, significant. Like your current, around your body. Like if you were forming a straight line to your target, from here, you're actually pulling that disc behind your body. So you're getting in between the route, so you're having to come around your body.
Gotcha.
So you're reaching out here,
Just
you're
watching
coming
the back.
through here.
For the timing issue that we're talking about is we want you to be planting here. When this is planted, we want you fully extended. Extended. So it's here to here.
After all the information we gave Noah, it was time to throw, but we decided to include a drill that helped work on the release angle. In the previous episode, we noted that Noah throws on anhyzer often, so a lot of the focus went into the hyzer release, as it doesn't come natural to him. The goal for this drill is to throw the disc through the uprights on hyzer. The best aim point is the right post, which is why the walk-up is angled towards the right. The drill is tough for Noah initially, as it is the opposite of how he normally throws, but after a couple attempts he started to get the hang of it. Being able to control which of the three main angles, being hyzer, flat, and anhyzer, you release the disc on is key for not only distance but accuracy. As the drill progresses, we can see that Noah becomes slightly more comfortable throwing the disc on hyzer. This gives him some more control of where he's throwing the disc, and he consistently gets it to go through the upright. For the second part of this drill, we work on the opposite of hyzer, which is anhyzer. Noah's typical release comes out on this angle, so he progressed much faster from this side of the field. His first couple shots passed right through the center of the goalpost, but when he did miss, the disc still hit the net on the right angle. That is the nice thing about getting any new player off the course, because we don't have to worry about score or distance, as those can lie to you, whereas simply throwing into a net makes you focus on your form and angle control. Even by the end of just this one session, we saw great progress. Noah's getting better control of his release point and angle, which helps him accuracy-wise. His form is also looking a lot better and smoother. The consistent issue he still needs to work on is rounding in his left arm. Those will get worked on in next week's episode. However, that'll do it for this week's episode of Bogies to Birdies. Make sure to tune in next week for more content.
Thanks, Jacob. It looks like Noah's getting even better despite his youth and his disc golf experience. And just like Noah, the football team is making strides after the frustration of last year. But just because a team isn't playing games doesn't mean they aren't putting in the work. So reporter Luke Mathews talked with the athletic trainer to talk about the off-season preparations they are currently going through. Take it away.
Welcome back to the part of the show where you guys will get a closer look at what the off-season looks like for the Bearcat football team. This week, our guest is Dan Harrison. Dan is going into his second year as the head football athletic trainer. And as off-season conditioning amps up, Dan's role only gets bigger and bigger. Enjoy.
All right, so treatments are a little bit different in the off-season. We're not dealing with as many rush to get back from week to week. We have a little bit more time on our hands when it comes to the off-season stuff. We have a lot more soft tissue stuff as opposed to that contact and direct blow that comes with football. The importance of recovery during intense workouts like this. I think our strength staff does a really good job of limiting the load and alternating between workouts so you're not getting too much load on lower body and avoiding the upper body stuff. they balance it out pretty well, so you're not getting overloaded off the get-go off that. With the recovery part of it, we have those Normatechs in the clinic in the training room. We really utilize those the best we can. That's one of those great ways to get the soreness out of you before it becomes an issue for the next day. So it makes you feel a little bit better going into the next workout. One of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to any student athlete when it comes to training, especially in the off season, diet is really important. Getting the right proteins and macronutrients in after a workout is really important, as well as the stretching. Again, going back to the Normatech stuff, getting that lactic acid out the best you can. But the diet and the stretching is probably going to be one of those best ways that you're going to reduce that soreness.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to tune in next week as we will start hearing from the players themselves. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks, Luke. Despite the fact that we all watch on Saturdays, it is hard to tell what goes on after the season ends. But if you're in the mood to prepare for the upcoming football season, just like our athletes, then how about we discuss the ongoing rivalry with Pittsburgh State? So let's get right into it.
September 30th, 1932, a rivalry was born between the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats and the Pitt State Gorillas. Pitt State would win that game, shutting out the Bearcats 25-0, but that day would be the beginning of one of the most storied rivalries in MIAA football history. This rivalry isn't your average football game. This is a clash between two titans. This is the story of how these two teams would change the landscape of Division II football. There is more to this rivalry besides the football games. It's also about the Bearcat and Gorilla fans who have different perspectives of each other. With Gorilla fans, the Bearcats represent everything they love and hate about football by having the swagger and that outlaw mentality in them. Then, for Bearcat fans, the Gorillas are their enemy standing in the way of glory, or sometimes a chance to win a championship. With the legacy between the Bearcats and Gorillas, many players have donned the green and white or the red and yellow throughout the years. From playmakers like Steph Wan and John Brown, every generation has left a mark on this rivalry. With every generation in the rivalry, it creates legends who will embody the spirit of their respected teams. Currently, the Bearcats and Gorillas have played against each other 56 times. This rivalry has changed throughout the years, as back in the 20th century, the Pitt State Gorillas dominated the Bearcats by beating the Bearcats with an 18-11 record against them. Then, when the 21st century hit, everything changed, as currently the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats have an 18-9 record against the Gorillas, and currently lead the all-time record of 29-27. Most recently, the Bearcats hosted the Gorillas as Northwest was celebrating homecoming. The Gorillas would come into town and dominate the Bearcats in a 28-7 win. This upcoming season, once again, the Bearcats will face the Gorillas in the final game of the season, as the Bearcats will be celebrating Senior Day as the rivalry continues. If it's Bearcat Stadium, Carney Smith Stadium, or even Arrowhead Stadium, you know that when the Bearcats and Gorillas fight, it's going to be intense. Each team will do whatever it takes to win on the gridiron. What team will be the last one standing in their next matchup? What playmakers will make the name for themselves? Only time will tell, but there's one thing that we do know is that Northwest and Pitt State will continue to captivate football fans for generations to come.
Thanks, Tayden. The most important part of the rivalry is the passion from the fans, so be ready because senior night next year will be a clash of these two historic schools. The softball team participated in the Washburn Invitational in Topeka, Kansas for a set of 5 games. In the 3 games they have played to this point, the Bearcats pulled away with just 1 win. The win game came in a game versus St. Cloud State where they managed a 2-1 victory. In the doubleheader on Saturday, the Bearcats dropped both games, with the first one to Winona State being lost 13-5, and in the second game, the Bearcats barely lost to Southwest Baptist by a score of 4-5, where they almost took it to extra innings. The Bearcats will finish up the series Sunday before grabbing a week of rest and a trip to Liberty, Missouri. But hold that thought, as we will be right back to talk about some Bearcat baseball after this break.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts mini radio shows such as Nermageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
Hey guys, I have the new season of Gen 2.
Yeah! Get over here, let's check it out!
Oh, you always gotta blow these things out. Alrighty guys, gather around.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. This week, the baseball team hosted the first home stretch of the year. Pitcher Quinn Mason was the star of the show on Friday with his 11 strikeouts. The team would claim a much-needed 7-3 victory over Emporia State. This would be the first time the baseball team won its opener against the MIAA since 2021. Despite the fact that the Bearcats opened the day with 6 runs in the first, it became a defensive matchup as the bats went cold. However, the pitching was on point, and the Bearcats wouldn't have the same luck on Saturday's matchup, however, falling 13-5 to the Hornets. But don't get too down on them, as they will play again Sunday. After Quinn Mason's 11 strikeout performance on Friday, we figured it was fitting to understand what it takes to be a pitcher. Take it away, Zach.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach Scott, and welcome back to Do You Have What It Takes, the show where we answer that spur-of-the-moment sports question when you say to the TV, yeah, I can do that. Now let's test that theory as we dive into a long-term series where I ask you, can you be an MIAA baseball player? Starting with the one position in baseball, the pitcher. Pitching in the MIAA is obviously difficult, with a side of not only a huge risk, but an even better reward. You have a ton of different options at your disposal for styles of pitching. Are you going to throw an advanced heater? How about you maximize the speed on your spin with a deadly curveball or sweeper, which will cut both sides? Or maybe you like to keep things a little off speed with a tricky pitch like a knuckleball or forkball. If you can't tell already, you have to have a star pitch at your disposal to be picked for the MIAA as a pitcher. But unfortunately, being a pitcher is not all about velocity, speed, and spin rate. In the MIAA, you must also have good batting, which is never an easy thing to pick up. A ball at average is coming to you at 40 miles per hour, which is sometimes easy to track. If you're in a 12U league, an average high school pitcher can throw up to 75 miles per hour. Notch that up to college level and imagine taking an 85 mile per hour fastball. I bet you think you can, but trust me, it's way more than meets the eye. Now, here's what you don't want to do if you want to be an MIAA pitcher. Not covering first base on a bunt because you were too busy thinking of your next pitch. Trying to pick off the lead runner because, let's face it, you're wasting everyone's time if you're trying to do that. And the classic baseball trope, not putting the ball where the catcher wants it, making him not want to catch for you anymore. Now those suck. Luckily, we don't have any of those in our actual examples. Let's talk about them here.
What we see here is the Lids 2023 MIAA Championship, where the first at-bat, Parker Thomas will go against Jake Butler for the first time in the game. Parker shows excellent awareness around Butler as he navigates the strike zone, throwing 4 pitches in all, with the first being a cautious ball to see if he will swing. The second ball around the same area to make sure he keeps him honest. After cornering the batter at 1 and 2, he throws a low fastball that would have been a strike for a surefire ground out to end the leadoff batter's at bat. Let's see it right here as it unfolds. Unfortunate for Butler.
Now those were some highly skilled MIAA pitchers. You think you have what it takes to hang with them? Comment below and tell us what you think here at Bearcat Update. I'm Zach Scott, and we'll see you next time when we talk about the captain on defense, the catcher. Take it away, Jason.
Thank you, Zach. As previously said, this season of Bearcat Update, we have been granted unprecedented access to the cheer team. Our reporter Jake Walker happens to be on the team, meaning that we get to meet his teammates one by one. Take it away.
Welcome back to Meet the Cheer Team. This week, we're taking some time to step away from the co-ed stunners, and we're going to focus on one of our all-girl stunners.
Hi, my name is Paula Kanjisupi. I am a graduating junior here at Northwest Missouri State, and then I am a main base and also I can secondary base on the cheer team.
Similar to Bella from a few weeks ago, the jump for Paula in high school cheer to college cheer was one of excitement, but also caution.
So I was from Nebraska, so there's the Nebraska laws that we couldn't really stunt or do anything. So I think it was even just like my junior and senior year was when we first started stunting, and we only did preps and half full down, and that was literally it, and we thought we were so amazing. And then I came to my first clinic here, and literally the basic is to do like an extension, and I've never gone above my head before, so it was actually quite like a little bit of like a what am I doing here type of moment. But I tried it, failed, and then tried again, and it was a lot better, and it was really nice to have just like all those different people to help me work through the steps as like being a new person in the whole stunting realm, or however you want to say.
Like many others on the team, Paula's involvement in cheer stretches beyond the Northwest mats and into the lives of future athletes around the region.
I got a job at UCA, which is Universal Cheer Association, and through that way I'm able to kind of like keep up with like the cheer world, even though I kind of want to like put more focus towards like my career and go into grad school. I'm still able to like do cheer camps and teach other people and just kind of like even stunt and tumble on my own time over there, and without having like too much stress of like a college cheer team atmosphere. I'm still able to like work through it and see all the kids and different people like that.
With Paula's time at Northwest coming to an end, she shares some words of encouragement for any potential Northwest cheerleaders.
It's just like really fun to just like really be like so silly goofy, and like with the friends I found here on cheer, it's very much like I'm so comfortable and like I have no problem being myself, and just like maybe like doing a little like light yoga or like tapping their shoulders or anything like that. So it's very fun to just kind of like be silly and goofy and like not have to always be like really stressed out in a way.
That's all the time we have with the cheer team today. We're going to swing this one back over to your host. Take it away, Jason.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Wiley Ray, and this is Cade Ricketts. Stick around to get an in-depth preview for the rest of the regular season after the win against Missouri Western. We'll be right back.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. Be sure to pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
For years, it has been Channel 8 News, the station that has kept the Northwest and Maryville community informed. Although the image has changed, the mission has not. It all happens here, every Monday at 9 a.m. on KNWT TV. This is Northwest News.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray, and alongside me is Cade Ricketts, and today we're going to be recapping the Missouri Western game and talking a little bit about the rest of the regular season. Cade, you had the honor of covering the doubleheader Saturday with the Griffins and the Bearcats on KZLX. What were some things that you liked and that you didn't like about how the games took place?
Yeah, I mean, just starting off with the women's game, obviously slower start is what really affected us in that one.
Yep.
Our slow start and not being able to, we kind of were unlucky in a way. Some open shots just didn't roll in our way, but the Griffins, it's their defense, that press they run, their women's team, all games, start to finish, they're in your face, they're creating you to make tough shots. We just weren't able to make them. I think a bright spot in that game for me would have been Molly Hartnett. She had a really good second half. She looked really sharp. They kind of settled in, but I think it just took them too long to settle in is what happened there in that one.
Yeah, you know, that was one thing we discussed last episode was the Bearcats need to start hot, and the Bearcats unfortunately didn't start hot, and they suffered it, only putting 5 points up in the first quarter. So that was the big thing. But in the second half, it was, you know, Bearcats looked like a completely different team and were able to stop that Griffin offense and then get some big stops. Once again, big stops on defense for that team as well. And what were some things you liked about the men's game for the Bearcats?
Yeah, I mean, it's a rivalry game. So start to finish, you know it's going to be tough. And in those games, it kind of plays like a playoff game in a sense. It's going to be a really hard-fought game, even though you might think you're going to win because they had been struggling recently. It was a back-and-forth game. And I think anytime you can come out on top in that game, it's a win. Especially in the first half, we only shot 7 for 19. We really struggled shooting the basketball. And then in the second half, we cleaned it up, shot a lot better. We're able to get a little bit of separation. I think one of the biggest problems that happened for the Griffins is we'd pull ahead by about 4 or 5, and they would just come marching right back and cut it to a 1-point game. But when they lost Jerron Thames, they're one of the better players early in the third, we kind of were able to get a little bit more separation. And I think that's what overall helped us win that one. You know,
and we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Bearcats won their 11th straight MIAA title at home against the rival. It's nothing short of exciting and sweet to beat your rival and to clinch that MIAA title at home.
Absolutely. I mean, it was so cool just being there for the call, watching the celebration, the trophy ceremony, the cutting the nets. I mean, that's just something that's so special and something that I don't think our fans take for granted, even though it's been 11 straight, which is, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that number 11 just gets sweeter and sweeter every time you talk about it. But, you know, we still got 2 more games in the regular season. Bearcats on the road for the last 2. They go to Central Oklahoma and Missouri Southern. And just kind of looking at Central Oklahoma, what are some things that kind of worry you a little bit? You know, it's on the road. It's a little bit of what I like to call a trap game. But what do you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Central Oklahoma has a really talented roster start to finish. And I mean, yeah, 2 road games. Obviously, we've been better at home than on the road. Our only losses in the MIAA have came on the road. I think it's just finishing strong for us. I mean, it's down the stretch. We're pushing towards the tournament, the MIAA tournament, the NCAA tournament. You just can't overlook these games. Even though we won the big rivalry game, we already cut the nets, that celebration, you can't let that be the reason why you fall asleep at the end of the year.
Yeah, and just looking at the women's game really quick, 2 players that really stick out are Carly Wadsworth, averaging 9 points a game, and Reagan Fox, averaging 8.5 points a game. But other than that, they really just across the board, even spread, they all score around the same amount of points. As a team, they average 64 points a game. And then on the men's side, Jaden Wells averaging 21 points a game. We talked about how Jaden Wells is arguably one of the best players in the MIAA, if not the Division II NCAA. And then after Wells, it's Danquez Dossie with 14. So a big drop there for this Broncos team. But we also have another game on the road with it being Missouri Southern. Cade, what do you think that game is going to be like for the Bearcats?
Well, starting on the women's side, I mean, Missouri Southern, I mean, they've been pretty good. 19 wins. We kind of beat them by a lot early in the year. And I like that we're going to finish our season the same way we started our season, playing Missouri Southern. This time we're at 3rd place. Obviously, earlier in the year, we were at our place. But the women's team, they're about 19-7. They have a top 5 offense in the MIAA. One of the big problems is they know how to score. They scored 80 points back-to-back games. I think our defense has been great, and I think they're going to have to continue to be great if we want to get a win.
You know, we always talked about how the Bearcat women's team can always bounce back after a loss, and it's been true. They never lose much back-to-back, but that'll do it for Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray. Alongside me is Cade Ricketts. We'll send it right back to Jason in the studio. Take it away, Jason.
That is all the time that we have for Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Jason Holland, and you're watching Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We are live every Sunday at 1:15 p.m., and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV, as well as all of our other content and previous shows. As well as Bearcat Update, you can also find all of KNWT TV's other content as well.